will bond be revoked for Casey Anthony? The bounty hunter and bail bondsman team announced today that they want to begin that process. And new at this hour, we're told Casey Anthony could be back behind bars as early as Saturday morning. In a late-day news conference, the Orange County Sheriff's Office said little except that they still considered Kaylee a missing person, despite evidence to the contrary. We're also told the state attorney's office extended an offer of limited immunity to Casey to next Tuesday. Despite the news, Channel 9 broke yesterday that DNA results prove Kaylee was in Casey's trunk and that she is dead. Detectives would not comment on any of that today.
In the news conference, which we brought you live at 5, detectives would only say it was inappropriate to talk about rearresting Casey Anthony at this time, even though forensics evidence suggests otherwise.
We have some results. That information, again, is not subject to discussion. The investigators have a lot of information to look over, make sure they work through that information with the state attorney's office.
And it is up to the state attorney's office to decide whether more charges should be filed against Casey. Detectives did tell us today that Casey is still not talking to investigators.
Channel 9 has been there at every step of Casey's mad scramble today between her house and her attorney's office. And our team coverage is stationed tonight at the attorney's office, the sheriff's office, and the Anthony family home. And that's where we begin with Channel 9's Eric Rasmussen. Today he asked the bounty hunter point blank whether his bail bondsman nephew has given up on Casey Anthony.
It sure sounds like it. He wants to put her back in jail and then get out of here. We've seen family members come and go from the home all day long, but so far none of them have wanted to talk about the new developments in the last 24 hours that could send Casey Anthony back to jail. Casey Anthony zipped in and out of her home in a van, using the garage as cover to try to avoid a swarm of cameras. She spent another day away from the Anthony house for hours visiting her attorney, but bounty hunter Leonard Padilla says he's ready to send her back to jail. He admits his plan to get Casey talking by bailing her out didn't pay off.
Well, I didn't know that she would not talk to us. I didn't know that she would not talk to her parents. I didn't know about the University of Tennessee test until yesterday.
Preliminary results from those tests confirmed that little Kaylee was in her mother's trunk and there were signs of decomposition.
Cindy, did you want to say anything about the new developments? Well, they're saying now that Kaylee is dead.
No, they're not. Why do you think you came and talked to me yesterday?
While grandmother Cindy Anthony wasn't talking to us, she did meet with a nonprofit group that specializes in search and recovery missions, but Padilla says Casey hasn't given them a shred of information to go on. Do you still plan to do any searching?
Well, if she'd tell us where to go, I certainly would, but she's not saying anything to us at all.
Now, Padilla says Casey Anthony won't go back to jail today, but he does plan to revoke her bond on Saturday. In Orange County, Eric Rasmussen, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Many in the community are coming out to offer support and prayers to the Anthony family, but some people are starting to show they're sick of the way the Anthonys have been acting. Channel 9 caught this minivan driving through the Anthony's subdivision. Its rear window message mocked the family, especially Cindy Anthony's demands to find her granddaughter. The driver told us he has a problem with her ordering people around at a candlelight vigil when to him it was obvious that Kaylee was dead.
And for her to make a statement for people that were giving their heart and their soul to tell them, get off your ass and find my granddaughter. I mean, it's sickening.
As we first told you at 5:30, the family has brought in a national search team called EquiSearch. That team includes the mother of missing teenager Natalie Holloway, and the mother's expected to come to Central Florida this weekend.
Meanwhile, Casey's attorneys has continued to meet with her at his office. And Channel 9's Kathy Bellich says she's not answering any questions about those DNA test results. She continues our team coverage from the office of attorney Jose Baez in Kissimmee.
Casey Anthony jumped out of a van wearing huge white sunglasses and a T-shirt bearing a photo of her daughter Kaylee and carried a backpack over her shoulder. She walked so fast one of her flip-flops fell off. Today's all-day visit with her attorney, her fourth since getting out of jail last week, was hastily scheduled yesterday afternoon, minutes after investigators showed up at her lawyer's office to tell her family the grave news that FBI DNA tests on hairs and a stain found in the trunk of Casey's car show they came from Kaylee and that Kaylee is dead. A source close to the case told Channel 9 Casey kept her boyfriend away from that car when he picked her up after she abandoned it next to a dumpster at Amscott at Goldenrod and Colonial.
Casey, where is Kaylee?
The bounty hunter who paid the $50,000 to bond Casey out of jail says he believes she's coming here all the time just to get out of her parents' house. He says the tension is building inside the Anthony's home, and he can see a difference in Kaylee's grandparents now that they've been told of the DNA test results. After spending 5 hours at her attorney's office today, Casey walked out again without saying a word. Kathy Bellich, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
And we went back to Dr. Michael Baden, who became known for his work in the O.J. Simpson case, to ask whether the hair investigators have in evidence would reveal a possible cause of death.
If Kaylee had been given drugs, say sleeping medications, I've had this in the past, where a young mom wanting to go to a party and not having a babysitter gives the baby sleeping pills to go to sleep, that may show up in the hair.
On the other hand, Dr. Baden told us if Kaylee had drowned in a pool, as one theory previously suggested, her hair would have no evidence of that.